3, 2, 1.
Hello, hi everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, a good time wherever you are. This is Shady Aljacky, and you are watching Supply Chain on Air. This show, I'm hosting the most supply chain experts as our guest of today. I know that we had stopped for 1 month for personal issues, but thanks God, everything's okay, and I return back to my lovely show every Tuesday. And today we will have very interesting topic with an amazing guest. As usual, before we start our show, I just want to see from our friends in the comments from where they are watching us and what time is it now in their countries. We will have to wait until we receive our friends. Hello, this is the first one, Ahmed Khalid, as usual, my friend. How are you, Ahmed? We'll be waiting for another friends. Okay, till we have new friends to come. I just want to say today we have a very special guest. Again, we have another friend, Nihal. Hello, Shady. How are you, Nihal? Ahmed Khalid again. Hello from Jordan right now. He's in Jordan. Yes, Ayman. How are you, Ayman? Okay. As I said, today we have a special show with a special and amazing guest. Usually, I used to ask my guest in a couple of minutes to introduce himself, but today I will have something special for him, and I will introduce him by myself. Our guest of today,
He is an expert in all aspects of supply chain and logistics. He has 42 years of experience in managing, advising, and teaching supply chain. He is the founder and CEO of consulting firm Logistics Bureau. He has advised top 500 companies across 25 countries. He is recognized as a thought leader and a passionate speaker on all aspects of supply chain. He had received the 2018 Industry Excellence Award winner for his contribution to the supply chain industry. His greatest satisfaction is in assisting customers to improve their business and operational performance. He has personally led projects that have delivered millions in bottom-line savings and improved customer service levels. He spent time teaching postgraduate supply chain studies and spent 22 years in the British military in a broad range of supply chain roles. He has been working, teaching, and consulting in the field of logistics and supply chain since he was 17. He has frequently appeared on TV and radio interviews as well as printed media, and is very comfortable in front of the camera or microphone. His passion for knowledge sharing is quite apparent, as he runs 4 YouTube channels plus a weekly blog. He has released a series of books on logistics and supply chain called Supply Chain Secrets. He was born in Jersey in the United Kingdom, was educated at Cranfield University in the UK, and moved to Australia in 1993. He He became a proud Australian citizen in 1997. And yes, he cheers for Australia at the cricket. He is Rob O'Byrne.
Hello.
Shady, who is this guy? I want to watch this.
It's you. I hope you like it.
Well, I have to live up to that now.
No, you deserve more and more. By the way, I
Yeah.
made this video by myself.
Oh, very well done. Yeah. Oh, look, it's great to be talking to you again. And
Thank you.
hello to everybody around the region who's watching.
Yes, especially from Egypt and the Middle East. We have Ayman Hassan waiting to know more as usual. He's one of your fans. And Ahmed Khalid, it will be a great episode. Yes, I'm sure from that.
He'll have some difficult questions, Ahmed. Yeah.
Yes, we are ready, huh?
Yeah.
Nihal, amazing. Thank you, Nihal. And we have Ayman again. Wow, it seems heavy knowledge session today. Sure. Okay, Mr. Rob, you know, and all of us know that you are an expert in supply chain. That's why we choose a very difficult and important topic for supply chain, which is easy ways to save costs in supply chain. As all of us know that most of the companies or organizations are aiming profits, then it aims customer satisfaction. So my first question for you, Mr. Rob, saving costs in supply chain, working against the customer satisfaction?
Does it work against customer satisfaction?
I mean, if I'm saving costs in supply chain, does that mean I'm going to reduce the customer satisfaction?
Yeah. A lot of people think that, and I think when we all study supply chain, we think that high customer service is going to cost a lot in our supply chain. And I can certainly remember when I was studying supply chain, you remember those curves where the service goes up and then the cost goes up. So I think it's natural that people think if we try to save money in the supply chain that we will get lower customer service. Actually, the opposite is true. And I know that sounds strange, but we've studied this over the last 20 years or so. And actually, when your service gets better and better, when you reach really fantastic levels of service, your costs actually drop. And it doesn't feel right. The first time we saw this many years ago, we were doing some benchmarking for a company in supply chain, and we found as we benchmarked them every year, as their service got better, so their costs got lower. And we thought, this is really strange. How can this be happening? Because this is not what we learn. And so we started to look at other companies, and we looked at over 1,000 companies, and we saw the same trend, that the companies that provided the best service in every industry actually did it at a lower cost, almost half the cost of the average. And so, of course, that begs the question, how can that be? Why does that happen? And the answer is actually very simple. When people focus on customer service and they have a passion for customer service and they're trying to achieve customer service excellence, guess what? They look at every single process very carefully and they want to get everything just right. And when you do that, you do things more efficiently and you do it at a lower cost. And because you're so passionate about service and you want every order to go out complete, then you have no back orders, you have no complaints, you don't need a complaints department. And, it's true. We've been studying that for years now. So if I flip that back now to your question, if we're trying to save money in our supply chain and we're trying to reduce our cost, does it impact customer service? No. In fact, if you focus it the other way and try to provide the best service you possibly can, that's one of the best ways to actually reduce cost.
Amazing, Rob. So the first message to all here, that working in saving costs in supply chain will never reduce the customer satisfaction. By the way, I forgot to inform all our audience that we have a free gift from Mr. Rob. I will put the link of the gift by the end of the show. Everyone could
We
check
have this
this.
one.
Yes.
We'll have a
For
copy
me.
of this book for everybody.
Oh, thank you, Rob, for that gift. Thank
Mm.
you so much. We started to have comments. Let's check our lovely audience. Ayman Hassan, I think this point about how you execute the cost versus customer satisfaction. Yes, exactly. We have another comment. Ahmed Khalid, wonderful values, Shady and Rob. Thank you, Ahmed. Thank you. Okay, Rob. Regarding to the same point we are talking about now, you say that the saving cost of supply chain will never touch the customer satisfaction. And I believe the supply chain is integrated in many areas in the organization. So if I asked you the top three areas that we could save costs in supply chain, could you?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I mean, there are so many important parts, there's so many important functions in the supply chain, and they all have the opportunity for great savings. I suppose an obvious one, might be procurement. If we can buy at cheaper prices, we can save money in the supply chain. I find actually probably the top three areas of cost savings would be in transport, both inbound and outbound transport. And I think still, even today, a lot of people really don't understand the dynamics, the detail of transport costs. And all they do is they focus on the rate. I'm paying X dollars per ton, I'm paying X dollars per pallet, and I want to reduce that transport rate. That's really not the way to save transport costs. The best way to save transport costs is to look at the operation, and can you make the operation more efficient? And then if you can make it more efficient, you're going to end up paying less. So transport is a very key area. And in the work that we do with our consulting clients, it's probably one of the areas where there is most significant savings available. So definitely transport. Warehousing would be another one. So I spend a lot of my time overseeing warehouse designs and looking at warehouse networks. Some of the biggest savings can be looking at the warehouse network. So how many warehouses do we have? Where are they located? How do we deploy our inventory across those warehouses? Do we have full range warehouses, part range? A lot of big companies will have fast moving warehouses and slow moving warehouses for their different stock. A classic one is companies saying we're running out of warehouse space, we need a bigger warehouse, or we need more warehouses. Very often it's because they just got too much stuff in their warehouses that they don't really need. They've got old stock, they've got dead stock. So definitely warehousing would be another one. And I'm sure everybody would agree with me that inventory is probably one of the top three as well. So many companies are bad at inventory management. They don't embrace sales and operations planning. They don't do their forecasting very well. Generally, they're just not managing their inventory very well. And of course, that means you have a huge excess stock of inventory, which is costing the business money. You're going to have maybe not enough stock of the fast moving, the high demand products. So inventory is probably another key area. So if I was to pick three, it would be transport, warehousing, and inventory. As I mentioned, procurement can often be a key area as well. So those would be my top areas to focus on.
Amazing. This is, let me remember the 80-20 rule. You
Yeah.
choose the small, not, I will not say small areas, but you choose only three areas that we have a
Mm.
big impact in saving the cost.
Oh, absolutely huge impact. And,
That's just
Ahmed Khalid is saying, they just look into transportation cost,
Ahmed Khan,
really
yes.
as a cost. That's a lot of senior executives in businesses don't really understand the dynamics of supply chain costs. Have we got anyone from procurement here? Very often procurement look at how much are we paying per ton, how much are we paying per pallet, and they want the lowest possible cost. And I think as supply chain managers, we all understand that it's not about the unit rate. It's about trying to make our supply chain more efficient.
Yes.
You could have the lowest unit cost for air freight, but air freight is not what you should be using. Maybe you should be using rail freight or road freight. So you can be doing the wrong thing very, very inefficiently.
Yes, exactly. And this is the same meaning of difference between price and cost.
Yeah,
Especially in procurement,
absolutely.
they are targeting the lowest price all the time. By the
Yeah,
way, sometimes I'm choose the highest price, but it gives me a long lifetime. Then it gives me
exactly.
customer satisfaction, by the way. And in the
Yeah.
long run, it gives me saving cost and supply chain.
That's a great point, Shady. I do a lot of work in outsourcing, helping companies outsource, helping them pick third-party logistics companies. It doesn't happen so much now. I think people are a bit smarter, but sometimes you still get companies, and all the tenders will come in and the quotes, and they'll look down the prices and they'll go, oh, well, this one looks good. It's the cheapest one.
Yeah.
And sometimes I have to spend my time sort of saying, yeah, but look at the offer. What are the different companies offering? Look at their track record. Look at their experience. Look at their systems. It's all about the quality as well. So,
Yes.
I think people now are getting much smarter, and like you, they're not just looking at the lowest price. They're looking at what's the best quality. It's the cost and service balance, isn't it? What's
Yeah.
going to be the best outcome for my business? And sometimes it's not the cheapest. In fact, it's usually not
Yes.
the cheapest.
Almost. It's not the cheapest. Almost.
Yeah.
Let's back to our lovely audience. Ahmed Khalid, what a great gift regarding the book. Ayman books. By the way, Ayman pay a lot of money for the books. Is I'm sure he is happy now for that book
Oh
for that gift.
no! Oh no! Iman, contact me, and I'll give you an extra special gift. All right.
Yeah, yeah. By the way, he
If
is
you've
my
already
best
bought
friend.
it and I'm giving it free to people, I'll contact me directly and I'll find something else for you.
Thank you, thank you. And we have again amazing Ahmed Khalid. I totally agree that transportation costs. Not many organizations look into the fleet utilization. Exactly, that's what Mr. Rob said.
The fleet utilization is a very interesting area to look at for cost saving and transport. Over the years, I've done a lot of work with sort of fresh food deliveries, bread and milk and things like that. And these companies have huge transport fleets. And very often, they might have a fleet of 200 vehicles, and all of the trucks are going out early in the morning, maybe 4 a.m. And by 10 a.m., they're all back and they're parked and they sit there. That is terrible asset utilization. Can you imagine running an airline and for 18 hours a day or something, the planes are just parked at the airport?
Sorry, Mr. Rob, I forgot to thank you that you joined me in 5 a.m. almost, or 5:20 now. I know
Oh,
that
it's
there is a big
5:20
difference
now. Yeah.
between Cairo and Sydney. Thank you so much. I forgot to thank you for this point. It's a
Thank you for
pleasure.
pointing out if I look very tired. That's
No,
why
no,
I
no,
apologize.
no, no. You looks like good. Okay, now we understood that saving is not working against the customer satisfaction, and we already mentioned the most three top areas to have cost saving. That's led me to ask you the third question of today, of our topic. Is there any mistake could happen during saving the cost?
Yeah, that's a great question. And very often what will happen when there's a new managing director or a new CEO come into a business, and sometimes they've been brought in to improve the business and that might involve cost savings, and they rush into cost savings and they, telling their managers, I want to save 10% transport costs, 10% warehousing costs. It's funny how everybody always wants to save 10%. And so one of the mistakes, I think, is trying to do that too quickly,
Mhm.
without much of a plan and without realizing the impact of, perhaps we're trying to save cost on transport, but what's the customer service impact? Maybe we're trying to save money on inventory, but if we reduce too much, will impact customer service. So I think trying to rush without too much of a plan is one of the mistakes, and then trying to cut too deeply. So inventory would be a good example of that. We must save money, let's cut the inventory, but then we cut too far and we start losing sales. Or as we were just saying, we want, maybe we're spending a huge amount of money every year on transport and we have to save costs. Let's get a cheaper transport company. Oh, and guess what? The customer service drops. So yeah, that can happen.
Yes, yes. If I would add the small point regarding the mistakes, the unit of measurement in the inventory. I have a bad experience in this area. Sometimes in inventory they put wrong unit of measurement, and this is, by the way, duplicate the items,
Yeah,
and then you have your inventory stock value is becoming higher and higher.
that's right.
Yeah, this is
That's
one of the
right.
hidden killer. If we worked in this area, I think we would gain more and more. Also,
I have a great example of that.
yes, please.
It was a discount clothing retailer.
Hmm.
This was a few years ago. I think they're a bit smarter now. And we were trying to help them reduce cost, and we were looking at inventory and looking at procurement. And we noticed one item they had. I'm not sure what you call them, but track pants. Those loose trousers that people wear. And they had something like 20,000 pairs of these large size track pants that haven't been selling. It was just sitting there in the warehouse. So we said to them, you really have to sort of start discounting these and getting rid of this old stock, because you're just not making money on it. So they discounted them, and I think over about a week they sold them all. Guess what happened? Procurement and the purchasing team were monitoring the sales, and they went, wow, look at these extra large track pants. They're really selling quickly. Let's order 50,000 more. And they
Amazing.
did. So I think, that's a good lesson in communication as well, up and
Yes.
down the supply
Yeah,
chain.
yeah. Let's go back to our lovely audience. We have Ahmed Khalid. Exactly. It's about the optimization. Thank you, Ahmed. Wonderful insights. He's laughing, I think, about the book. And he said again, waking up. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to do that.
It's not a problem. To talk to you, Shady, and your audience, I'm happy to get up very early.
It's my pleasure. Thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Okay, now we have the three top areas. We have understand the cost saving against the customer satisfaction, and what are the mistakes we should avoid. And you already said one example. Do you have another example for the easiest saving cost? You already applied. You
Easiest
have seen.
saving. It's hard. And for anyone watching this, don't think, Rob said, look at transport, look at inventory, because it's different for every business. But every business probably has one supply chain area that really stands out, that it's going to be the easiest savings. So for one company, for example, that I worked with in Asia, the opportunity for them was transport. They were spending a huge amount of money on transport. They had a fleet of 3,000 vehicles, hundreds of contractors. And so that was an obvious area to target. They were paying too much. They had too many contractors, and they saved 14% of their supply chain cost just in transport by fixing that. So transport is always a good area. Inventory, I have seen some of our consulting clients been able to cut their inventory by 50% just because it was so badly managed. And without impacting customer service. So the easiest cost saving is going to be different, I think, for every company, but it's normally obvious, I think. And when if you're joining a company and you're a new manager and you're looking around the company, something might look a little bit strange to you. And why do they do something like that? And why does this cost so much? That's probably the area to look at. So it'll be, different, I think, for every company. But the opportunities can be huge.
A lot of opportunities, I'm sure. We have Ahmed Khalid. Thank you, Ahmed. Dr. Rob is a great leader. Sure. That's why I stay maybe 1 month waiting to schedule this show with him.
I'm sorry we had to wait a while.
No. There's no problem. I'm so happy to have you today. Okay, Mr. Rob. I asked you a lot of questions. I'm so sorry, but today there is a lot of our audience waiting to gain from your experience. Maybe it will be the last question, maybe according to your time. I know that you are awake very early, but let me ask you: this saving of the cost of supply chain, does it need big investments? I mean,
Yeah,
I have to make a big investment to have this cost saving.
that's interesting. A lot of people think that. Um, I, I I think it's very common that people think, oh, we have to have a big investment in new IT systems to help us be more efficient. Maybe we have to hire a lot of very clever staff to help us achieve these savings. Um, let me give you a case study, a very quick case study where a company made some massive savings and didn't spend a cent. In fact, I tell a lie. I'll tell you what they had to spend money on. So this particular company was working in the automotive sector. And what is really interesting is that they decided to focus on one thing in their business and to use that KPI to improve their supply chain. And the one thing they looked at was the pick rate. How many items were they picking per hour in the warehouse? They wanted to make that more productive. And the whole team got together and they looked at opportunities to improve their processes, how to make things more efficient. And gradually over time, their picking productivity improved, their picking accuracy improved, so their customer service improved. Their supply chain costs went right down, their service went right up, their sales went right up.
Yes.
And they saved something like 10% on their logistics costs, and their service improved. And did they have to invest in anything? Yes, they did. They had to buy one more printer in the warehouse because they were picking faster, and to improve productivity, they said, "Oh, I think we need another printer." That's all they
Oh,
spent. That's all they spent.
amazing. Amazing.
Yeah. So
Here
it
we
doesn't
have,
need spending.
this is Rania. Thank you, Rania. She is asking you, Rob, with lately problem congestion on terminal and delays in shipment and deliveries, and this affect directly the supply chain management. When do you expect, when can we go back to the normal situation? Do you agree with the solution to increase the production of the steel boxes, containers, or will not be necessary for the coming years?
Oh, Rania, thank you for that question. You've kept the most difficult question till the end. I have no answer for that. I think we expected international shipping to have settled down a lot by now, but in some areas it just seems to be getting worse. I mean, every day you see, the number of ships sitting off Long Beach, in California and other choke points around the world. I think it's going to be a very long time before shipping actually settles down to anything like normal. I'm sure building more shipping containers will help, because the challenge there, of course, is that the shipping containers are in the wrong locations around the world, and that's having an impact. We've got ships with empty shipping containers heading back to Asia, so it is a bit of a mess. What I'm hearing more of, though, and it's surprising that it's happening now, 18 months into COVID and not earlier, and that is more companies are talking about onshoring production. So to avoid all of those shipping delays, they're thinking maybe we should make more in our own country. That's probably been that decision's taken some companies a long time, quite naturally, because they'll be thinking COVID will be over soon, everything will settle down, this is just short term. But I think the longer sighted companies are now seeing that this type of disruption in shipping could be with us for quite a long time, because it's not just about the shipping containers, it's about changing patterns of demand around the world. It's about disruption in some of those countries where traditionally goods have been produced. I was reading yesterday about the power restrictions in China, and some factories are having to sort of shut down for a couple of days. That's impacting their ability to supply. So I think the shipping, along with production delays and along with other areas of disruption in the supply chain, probably will have some companies looking at more local production, which is a challenge because it's probably going to be more expensive. That's why they offshore in the beginning. So yeah, great question, Rania.
Yeah.
I wish I had the answer.
It's a
Who
very
knows?
difficult one. Yes, yes.
Yeah,
You did very well.
that's probably a
So,
good question for Shady, really, because you're sitting near the Suez Canal, so
yes, yes.
you can probably look out your window and tell us what's happening.
We have Cyrus and we have an Alex also.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
sure. Okay, Mr. Rob, we have here Ayman. Sorry, there's something wrong. Yes, yes. I'm ready. Just he's waiting for the link. I
Yeah.
will
Oh, well, let's share the link.
I'll show the link and I'll put in the comments. Now,
Yeah.
immediately. I'll put it now. Just a
If
minute.
anybody has a problem finding that link, just send me a message on LinkedIn. And Ayman, do contact me for a special gift, because as you've already bought the book,
I will call Ayman after the show and ask him for the special gift. I'll take it with him.
yeah. No, I have something in mind. Yeah.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
I think Ayman.
I can't tell you because everybody will want it.
You will tell me after the show.
Yeah, I will.
Thank you so much. Also, Ahmed Khalid is asking, we need the book. Okay, I already add in the comments.
Yeah. So this is the
Everyone?
one you'll is the
Yes.
one you'll get.
Thank you so much, Rob. Okay, I will ask you the final question. I'll not ask you anymore. I know you are very tired. What is the realistic cost saving target? And if you could give me a percentage.
A realistic cost saving target. Look, that's going to very much depend on the business. It's going to depend on where it is in the world. It's going to depend on how good the supply chain is currently. So if you look at some of the best practice supply chains around the world, people talk about Unilever and Nestle and companies like that.
Mm-hmm.
They are very, very good at supply chain. And if you were trying to save money in those supply chains, you'll be looking at 1% here, 1% there, because they're already quite good. For a company that's average or not very good at supply chain, funnily enough, when new managing directors and CEOs join companies, they always want to save 10%. It's this magic number. But very often that's achievable. I think, in our consulting work over the last 24 years, if I think of some of the really great success that we've had with some of our clients, very often 10% is achievable. I've seen as high as 24% saving in a supply chain. Now, obviously, that was quite an inefficient supply chain. What's realistic? Probably 4 or 5%. I think in a company that's quite good at supply chain, when you look at those key areas of transport and warehousing and inventory, very often, you might be able to save 4 or 5% by improving things.
Thank you so much. We have here Ayman. He's saying, I see when supplier gives higher price that could be decreases, means someone didn't do his work from beginning, and that not cost saving, it is getting back to back.
Yeah, so I think what you're getting at there, Ayman, is that they're being very inefficient, and so they put prices up to cover that. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Ayman. He's trying to let you give him the special gift, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Don't worry, I've got you covered.
Thank you. Okay, Dr. Rob, I have nothing else to ask you about. By the end, I'm really thank you so much to join me, especially with that big difference in time. I know you wake up very early. Thank you so much. If you want to add anything.
No problem. It's a pleasure talking to you again, Shady, and thank you everybody for joining the show today. I love watching the show, and Shady shares a lot of great information. So thank you for allowing me to be part of that today. It's a pleasure.
Thank you, and I'd like to thank all of our audience, lovely audience who attend today. And as we said, we have a very amazing free gift from Rob. The link already available in the comments. As I show, everyone can download that books. sorry, that book from that link, inshallah. Thank you
There's
so much.
also, when you download the book, look
Mhm.
inside the book, because there's another thing in there that you can have as well.
Okay. Something
It's like a Russian doll, isn't it? You open the gift and there's another gift inside.
Oh, amazing. Thank you, Rob. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Rob.
Great.
Thank you for
Bye,
our.
everybody. Great talking to you.
Thank you.